I'm back, man. I'm back at it with another new video, NBA content. I want to give y'all my take on the NBA Finals. This is gonna happen. Game one tomorrow night. I don't know the time. I forgot the time. Usually it's at like 8:30 or so. But yeah, but I want to give y'all my take on that, and then also my my view on how the conference finals went, both conferences. And listen, I know some people that's gonna be watching this, and that's friends with me on Facebook. I said the Portland Trailblazers is gonna get out the West. I firmly believed it. Look, I know some of y'all may be looking at me crazy. I believed it. I believed that I thought that they were gonna get out of the West. To be honest with you, I can't like really run from that. I was wrong. Obviously, they got swept. I didn't see them getting swept. If they were going to lose, since they did lose, but I thought they weren't going to get swept. I thought it was going to be a long series, at least 6 games. So it's like for me to sit here and say, like, oh, like I knew the Warriors was going to sweep them, or yada yada this. Like, nah, bro. I didn't think they were gonna sweep them at all. I mean, at least get one game, and they were up in 3 out of 4 of the games that they played them in. So I think it's kind of hard because it's like for me, Damian Lillard is my favorite player. Now that Dwayne Wade is out of the league, Dwayne. Everybody that knows me, D Wade is my guy. You feel me? D Wade is my guy. My gosh, fix my couch. Jesus Christ, you fix the camera because I can't see the camera, the little camera lens, because it's black on my. I have an iPhone, so it's kind of like black. I can't really see. I'm trying to look dead at it. So if I'm looking, my eyes looking kind of crazy. Hey, look, I'm sorry, man. I don't have eye problems. But yeah, like I was saying, man. So Damian Lillard is my favorite player. I don't want to say I was moving off emotion and being biased. I mean, probably a little bit, but for me, I'm objective, and I feel like I see something. If I see something that's a weakness, or that can be taken advantage of, I feel like I think I believe in it. I feel like that's something that I feel like that any team can attack. As far as the Warriors, is what I'm talking about. Is what I'm saying. So as far as the Warriors, I feel like their bench wasn't really. I never really thought like. I never really was too big on their bench, the Warriors bench. I actually thought they weren't really gonna play well in that series. I actually, to be honest with you, I didn't think Steve Kerr would empty his bench like that. Pretty much play every single player on the bench. So I mean, it's like to see that is like, man, it's crazy. And they were able to play well. I think but they didn't play long stretches. The players that were already in the rotation from the bench were already playing. You see them, uh, they were already playing at a good level, decent level. You had McKinney, who was pretty effective and made some perimeter shots, wide open perimeter shots at that. And you'll live with that. It's like for them, you want them to win the game. You want them to make them win the game. You see what I'm saying? So, Portland, their game plan, the last three games, their game plan was way better than game one. They just let Steph and Clay just do whatever they want, especially Steph coming off pick and rolls. You don't hedge them. You don't step up. You have to. I was so mad at Terry Stotts that he should have got fired after that game because you don't let Steph Curry just have wide open looks off pick and rolls. Like, as soon as he came off the pick and roll, he was pulling. and you already knew. I already knew. Like it was just like, bro, like why is it? Why are they? How come they're not hedging him? And what I mean by hedging, for the people that don't really understand what hedging is, in pick and roll situations, the person that's guarding the person the other player that's setting the pick has to step up and take away that open wide open shot, or even just the drive to the lane. Because he really could have just drove to the lane too as well, and got a few middies, mid range shots, or got to the basket, stuff like that. So it's like they should have hedged him, pushed him out further, and turned it into a trap. I think if they would have did that and got a little more aggressive and intense with trapping in the hedges, hedging him, and then turning the hedging into trapping him, I think they would have, I think it would have caused him to turn the ball over even more, and allowed them to get more in the transition. Man, I'm all over the place. But yeah, so the Warriors, that series, I didn't think they would sweep the Trailblazers, but then again, at the end of the day, they're a great team. They're a great team. They've been there before. They've been there before. I never really wasn't too big on the experience. I think everybody has a first time for certain things, man. And sometimes you end up it just clicks right then and there, and then sometimes it doesn't, and you may need that experience. Either way, you're gonna gain the experience, but to be able to have the success right then and there, it's cause for some people. It's called for some people, and then sometimes it may not be called for other people. So, yeah, the Warriors, they're in the finals. The interesting thing is that was the Raptors. I didn't think the Raptors would be in the finals. I was very, very shocked. I didn't even think they would make it to the conference finals, to be honest with you. That's how shocked I was, because it's like, I knew Kawhi was going to do his thing. I love Kawhi Leonard. I wasn't too big on him as far as like being a top 5 or top player in the league until probably 2 or 3 years ago. And it was like, all right, he's serious. Like this dude is the real deal. And so it was interesting to see how he was able to lead his team against now I wouldn't even count the first series against the Magic. The Magic, they were good after in that game one, they were competitive. After that, it was pretty much they pretty much blew them off the floor. But the second round against the 76ers, because I didn't think that was my pick to get out of the East anyways, the 76ers. Before they even had Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris, I think they were really good enough to make it out of the East. And then when they added Jimmy Butler and Tobias, it's like I was definitely like, yeah, they have a great shot, and I think that at the time when they made those trades and when they acquired those two players, I really felt like they were getting out of the East, and second round out again. And it came down to the last possession in a game 7 of the second round. It could have went either way. Both teams played extremely hard and extremely tough in that game 7. Kawhi, I think he shot, Jesus, he shot around at least 40 times that game. He shot 40 field goals in that game, I believe. So his efficiency wasn't there, but at the end of the day, he was still able to make shots that game, those his teammates seemed so scared to shoot the ball, which was like weird. It was crazy, but then again, it was like I thought they would get to that point because the Raptors throughout the years, you know, they had that history. Oh, excuse me. They've had that history, and they've been in situations where they don't live up to the regular season hype. They always show up in the regular season, break the franchise record for most wins in franchise history, and you know the stats may show like, oh, this is a real championship contender. Nah, they were running every time they ran up against LeBron, they were getting sent home, man. And it was like, man, last year I thought it was it for them. I mean, I didn't think they would like. I don't know. I didn't think they would be able to like actually recover from that. To be able to get bounced out by LeBron, but it gets swept at that by a LeBron team that was nowhere near talented than his other teams before that. When they had Kyrie and even Kevin Love, I think he was okay in that series, but it was like that team was not. They weren't really legit as far as talent. I think talent, yeah, I think maybe with talent, but at the same time, the chemistry wasn't there. And that's why I felt like, man, like the Raptors, I think it's over with for them. Because if you can't beat LeBron at his probably the weakest with the most probably if you look at that team last year with Jordan Clarkson, Rodney Hood, George Hill, uh, Kevin Love, Jeff Green, that team isn't really talented like that. I mean, they had a lot of shooters. Jordan Clarkson, everybody was big on Jordan Clarkson. I wasn't really too big on him. Even when he was with the Lakers, I wasn't like, he was just athletic, but I didn't think as far as like actually being an X factor, I didn't think he would matter. And it showed. And so I think they had a bunch of players that can shoot it and that can get hot at certain times, but it was solely based on LeBron, and he had to shoulder that offense. He had to shoulder everything on that team, to be honest with you. But um, yeah, the Raptors, man, I think it's tough to see that they last year it was tough to see that they got swept by LeBron. Once again, it's like, man, Jesus Christ, I don't know what they're gonna do. It's just, and we didn't. Nobody saw the Kawhi Leonard, DeMar DeRozan trade coming, so it was like, yeah, they might be done. They might have to break that team up, and they just so happened to come up lucky, and get a Kawhi Leonard in the trade. And I thought, I immediately thought that he was gonna do his thing. I just didn't believe the others around him would. I definitely didn't believe Kyle Lowry would hold his weight, hold his own and show up in big games. And he was able to do that. He was able to play well enough to help his team win. And he didn't shy away and, seem lost out there. He didn't, it actually seemed like he knew his role. He knew what he knew what he needed to do, and he did it. So, as far as, I didn't look at the stats for in that series. I didn't look at it too much. I saw that Giannis struggled with Kawhi being on him, and which was shocking because I didn't think he would hold him to that percentage. He shot 35% when Kawhi was on him. I believe at one point, and it was like, Jesus Christ, how is he? So it was more so him being on the perimeter and they were closing in whenever he got into the paint, which was, you know, I mean, everybody would have that game plan because he was just dominating in the paint in the regular season. And so I think what Budenholzer, the Milwaukee Bucks head coach, I think what he went wrong at, where he went wrong at was, okay, you see that they're doubling him from the perimeter when he has the ball on the perimeter. He should have put him in the post because he doesn't have a jump shot. Why is he on the perimeter and he doesn't have a jump shot? They're gonna live with him shooting jump shots. That's not where it's not where he was able to get his points from in the regular season. So I think if you look at from the standpoint of game plan and executing the game plan, didn't work. And in order for him, and I can see if he got his points, he got hot from being in the post, and then he went to the perimeter and said, okay, let me mix it up a little bit. Now I can see, the jump shots or the game plan for him to shoot jump shots would work. I can understand that. So him being in the post, I feel like he should have been in the post more because that allows him to see everything. That allows him to see the entire floor where the double is coming from. And you just put him on a block. I feel like that makes more sense for him to be at this point right now. Now, people think that Giannis is going to have a jump shot by next season, or I think he's reached his ceiling. I think he's maxed out. I don't think he's going to be better than what he is. I don't think he's going to have a jump shot. I don't think he's ever going to develop a jump shot. And that's okay. Period. That's not a bad thing. I just think he needs to be more effective in the post. He needs to get in the post more. Because there's nobody that can really stop him one-on-one in the post. So if you have a player like that one person can't stop him and they need somebody to double, or they need another person to help with the other person that's guarding him, then that opens up the floor. And that opens up, perimeter shots for, his teammates. It's really his shooters, because he had a lot of shooters on that team, Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, Ilyasova, Pat Connaughton. Eric Bledsoe was able to shoot it a little bit. You had Malcolm Brogdon, George Hill. So you had a lot of different players that can shoot it. You had primary shooters, and then you had players that, that can shoot it really well, but that can also put the ball on the floor for themselves and make plays for themselves and for others. So I think that opens the floor for his teammates if he was able to be in the post and be effective in the post. I think if you really look at it, I look at it like this. I think he could have had the impact as Shaq. When Shaq played in his prime with the Lakers, even when in Orlando, he was effective in the post. But I think more so with the Lakers, he was just dominant, and nobody could stop him in the post one-on-one. You had to send. It was times where they were sending triple teams. Teams were triple teaming him, and that opened the floor. Players can cut. Players can move. Players had the ability or had the opportunities of shooting a deep ball, open deep threes, open shots. I'm talking about clean, good looks. You have no excuse on missing shots, open shots. That's how good of the looks that Rick Fox was getting, in series. You had Kobe. Kobe was already a legit deadly shooter, and you give him open looks, he's gonna take advantage. You know how Kobe is. That dude was a jump shot perfectionist, and he was always in the gym working on his J. So him, you had Derek Fisher, you had Robert Ory. Robert Ory even had impact from Shaq because he was getting doubled so much, and all you had to do is he was a known 3-point shooter. Now that's not where he came up from. Or that's not where he was known from. Known when he first got in the league. When he first got in the league, he could do, put the ball on the floor and make a play for himself. But I think now, or at that time, I said now. At that time, him being with the Lakers, all you had to do was spot up. They gonna double Shaq. No one man is gonna hold Shaq. Shaq was at least 300 pounds. I thought he was 300 pounds. Like, serious. So I think Giannis's impact could have been just as good as Shaq's. I think just from being in the post. Now I know y'all may be looking at me like I'm crazy. I know Giannis isn't 300 pounds. Giannis is probably 2 something, 250, 240, 2 something. I don't know. He's in the 200 range. But I think he could have been impactful if he was in the post. So, do I think he's capable of having a jump shot? I think at least if he can get a mid range, he'll be straight. He'll be straight because now they have to keep him honest. Mid range, if you can get a mid range game, oh Jesus Christ, I'm sorry. But if you can get a mid range game, man, I feel like he'll be straight. He'll be fine. Now 3-point, a long ball game, I don't know about that. He was gonna have to work intensely, really, really hard to get that down consistently. I'm talking about consistently. I'm not talking about I'm talking about knock down consistently. Because they're going to give him open looks from 3. So if they're going to give you open looks, you got to knock him down consistently. Now with the NBA Finals, it's so odd to me because with the Warriors being out or being without KD, people are making it seem like it's just going to be a landslide. They're going to win in 5. They're going to sweep them. I don't see it that way, honestly, because I feel like they're gonna have to solely rely on Clay and Steph. They're already, if you look at the minutes that they were playing high minutes throughout the playoffs. But I looked at the stats, or I looked at the minutes that they were playing against against the Warriors. Jesus Christ, I'm stuttering right now. But yeah, so when they were playing against the Warriors, Steph was at 41 minutes a game. Clay was for just about 40 minutes a game. Draymond was close to about, I think the 36, 37, close to around the 40 minute mark too. So their main core players, you have Iggy that was playing a high dose of minutes, but he was still able to get some rest. With their bench being given the green light to play, and the rotation being extended. Sean Livingston, he's older, and he has to. That's tough for them. I don't know because they're gonna have to be relied upon a lot in this series. I think the Raptors have a mixture of youth but veteran experience. They have Danny Green, who's an NBA champion. They have who's also been to the finals twice. They have Kawhi Leonard, who's an NBA champion, who's been to the finals twice. They have Serge Ibaka, who's been to the finals once, who's been to the conference finals 2 or 3 times. Marcus Gasol, he's been to the conference finals before. He's had deep playoff runs before. So, um, you have Kyle Lowry. He has playoff experience. You had, I think, Van Fleet. He has some playoff experience from last year. You have, a lot of different other players that's on that team that's really experienced and knows it all at that point. At this point, Pascal Siakam, he's really really good. He's turning into his own player. Really making a case for him being an all-star caliber player. Maybe an all-star next year if he plays the way that he plays, or plays even better. So they have players that can really do damage and that's impactful, and that really plays on both ends of the floor. I think if you really look at uh, how they can be effective on a defensive end against Golden State, is very unique. It's very unique. I think I would put Danny Green on Steph, and then Clay on not Clay. Put Kawhi Leonard on Clay. Now, I wouldn't honestly do that I would put Danny Green on Steph all game. Because I think Steph would just embarrass Kyle Lowry. I'm sorry. Kyle Lowry is definitely good. He'll compete on the defensive end. He's a pit bull, as people would like to say that he is on that end of the floor. But I think he's that effective, and so I think he can be effective in some points. But I don't think from a 48-minute entire game type of effective. Nah, I don't think he's that type. I think Danny Green he's capable of being, a defensive asset, and really, make it tougher for Steph to really get his. Because Steph is going to get his. You just got to make sure he's working to get his. Same thing for Clay. Now, I think he's going to have a hard time offensively if Kawhi is on him, because Kawhi is bigger. I think he has a little bit more of a longer reach, and I think he's stronger than Clay. I think they're around the same height. I don't know. I think Kawhi may be 6'8". I think they listed Clay as 6'7", I believe, or something, maybe 6'8" too. But I just think the way that Clay plays, his style of play, he's not really much of a player that's going to put the ball in. Not to say that he can't put the ball on the floor, but that's not what he's best suited at. He's a spot up, catch and shoot assassin. I'm sorry, I just burped a little bit. He's a spot up, catch and shoot assassin. He can put the ball on the floor, but he's always going to look for that escape dribble, for that jump shot, whether if it's a three or mid range. He really uses the escape dribbles for his mid range shot. So he's not really going. I mean, he'll take layups. He'll if he has an open lane, or if he has a lane where he feels like he can get to the basket, he's gonna take it. But I think Kawhi is gonna shut all that off. I think he's gonna make him work. I think he's going to have a hard time. I don't think he's going to want to put the ball on the floor with Kawhi on him. Let's just say that. So I think he diminishes his impact, which is going to cause who else? Who else is going to be able to drop 30 like that? Like Clay. Because Steph is going to have to get his. Steph is going to have to he's going to get his 25 or so. If he, I won't even say if. He's going to get his. You just got to pray, hope and pray that he misses. But if Steph has a hard time. They both, him and Clay, have a hard time with players that gets physical with them. That's physical, that's body to body to him. that's not letting them get any looks, that's staying in front and making them work. Physicality is something that they want to shy away from. Their game is more finesse. They they're not, you know, looking for the contact like that. Uh, they can fuel off it, or they can use it to their advantage, as far as getting getting to the line. But at the same time, who knows with these refs, man? And if the refs are giving them the calls, then that's when they're effective. I think that's when they're more effective. When they know how to use uh, their whoever's guarding them, the defenders' physicality to their own advantage. So I honestly think the Warriors, there can be, they're formidable. They're still formidable. I think they can still be really, really good. I think they'll be a lot better with KD. I don't think KD's coming back though. I think they're just trying to make it. They want they made it seem like he was coming back, but they want to make sure the Raptors or they were making sure teams were prepared to game plan for KD, which is smart because it's like, all right, teams just can't go in and thinking like, all right, we just got to solely focus on Steph, Clay, and the team that they're playing against. They can't. They have to, at some point they're going to have to prepare to play against KD. Now I don't think he's gonna play in the finals at all. Uh, I think it's a wrap for him. I think that calf strain is serious, more than serious than what they make it out to be. Um, I think he's gonna be out, and I don't know if he's gonna leave the Warriors or if he's gonna stay. Um, I mean, honestly, I think he shouldn't leave. At this point, why leave? You went there already. Um, you won titles, and if they lose, which I think they're going to lose, but if they do lose in the finals, I think it gives him more of a. It leaves the door open for him to stay. It would make more sense, because it's like they lost without you, bro. They lost without you, and depending on how they lose, if they go out in like 5 games, or if they get swept, or if they lose in like 6, then it's like, ooh, they probably did need them. But you know, if it goes 7, or even if it goes a 6, even if it goes a hard 6, I don't think they would be like, oh, we were right there. Um, but I think they're heavily favorites. Um, I think they're heavy favorites in the Las Vegas betting odds or something like that. Which is, I mean, they're always going to be uh, heavily favorites in the NBA Finals or in any series. To be honest with you, it don't matter who they playing against. They gonna be They gonna be heavy favorites. It don't matter who they playing against. So I don't think he's coming back. I don't think he's coming back. I do have the Raptors winning. I don't know. I want to say 6, but I was really debating on 5. And the reason why I say that is because the Raptors have home court advantage. I think just you can tell, like, the way that they play with Kawhi being on the team, like it's they play so different. They play like they play with a great level of confidence, but they're steady. Like in moments of clutch, crunch time is fourth quarter, for last 2 or 3 minutes of the game, and you need a bucket, you need a stop. They seem to have it now. Like they seem to have that type of intangible that they've been lacking throughout the last 4 or 5 years. You see what I'm saying? So now it's like, I don't know. I think if I was to choose in the amount of games that they will win in six. I would want to say they will win in six. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes seven. Um, but if it goes seven, I think the emotions would, like, I don't know. I think the emotions would play a huge part in them winning in Game Seven. Um, because if you look at the very last time the Warriors were in a Game Seven in the NBA Finals, it didn't work out for them. It was really, 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 really tough. And that was when they lost a 3-1 series lead against um, to the Cavaliers, and so LeBron, Kyrie, you know, and they had a bunch of players on that team that were dogs defensively. You had you had Richard Jefferson. You had, Jesus Christ. I'm trying to pull my shorts down. I'm sorry. You had Richard Jefferson. You had Iman Shumpert, Chicago, OPRF. You know we rep. That's my guy. J.R. Smith. He was definitely a defensive dog on that team. You had Dante Jones. I don't think he played that much towards in the first half of the series. Towards the end of the series, that's when he played a little bit. Um, but yeah, they had dogs. LeBron, you know, he was, of course, at that time he was still, really good defensively, and um, you know, he was effective on that end when he wanted to be. But yeah, that was the very last time that they were in a Game 7 in the NBA Finals, and it didn't look good, man. And it was just all physicality. It was so physical. They just seemed out of place. They seemed uncomfortable, and that's what you got to do with the Warriors. You got to make their shooters feel uncomfortable. Make Steph, Clay feel uncomfortable. Make KD whenever he's playing, whenever he played, make him feel uncomfortable. Get physical with him. Make him work. Let them know that you're there. So I say the Raptors in six, man. I think it's gonna be a great series. Um, that's what I look for, though. I want it to be a great competitive series, man. Regardless if I'm right or wrong, man, I want it to be a great series. I think Kawhi he's gonna show up and do his thing. It's interesting. It's an interesting thing, or uh, interesting point that I saw on Instagram, that uh, he was in the same situation against the Miami Heat. When LeBron was with Miami, and they had won back-to-back titles, and they were going for a three-peat, and then they got to the finals, and um, they ended up, beating them uh, to stop the three-peat. And Kawhi was on that Spurs team that stopped the three-peat. So, and he won Finals MVP. Even though people say, oh, he locked him up, LeBron averaged about 28, 7, and 5 in that series. I think he probably slowed him down a little bit, but you know, it's just crazy to see that he's in this situation again, where it's like, all right, you're going up against a great team that has two of the top 5 shooters in probably in NBA history, would go down as two top 5 shooters in really in NBA history. Um, Probably the greatest shooter of all time. Draymond being one of the best players in this era right now, or even at his position. I wouldn't say the best player, one of the best players in this era, but just at his position. One of the best players at his position. Um, and he's gonna be a Hall of Famer just from the simple fact that who he's playing with and how dominant he was able to be with the team, and just how he's able to feed off of Steph and Clay's dominance. And so uh, it's definitely I'm definitely looking forward to the this series, man. NBA Finals. I love the NBA Finals. It's a great time. This is one of the best times of the year, man. Best times of the year. NBA Finals, June. Game 1 tomorrow. I can't wait. My eyes are going to be glued to the TV. Trust me, I'm going to come back with another video for y'all for reactions on Game 1. Or my reactions or my takes on from Game 1. Um, Probably the next day, I believe. So I'll just keep you updated. Maybe, yeah, I'll probably say the next day. Because it's every 2 days. So game 2 will probably be Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. So I'll probably do that. No, I think it's Sunday actually. Either one of those days. But yeah, you already know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say, man. If you're watching this video, man, I think I said it before I started the video. But like this video, man. If you dig the video, like it, smash the like button. Follow me on Instagram. I'll put my Instagram info up on the link below. Uh, like this video, man. Smash the like button. Also, subscribe if you're new, and be ready for the new latest content that I got coming for y'all, man. I'm sorry. I want to apologize for just not being there when I should have been there. But hey, it is what it is, man. We here, we back at it. I'm here, man. I'm here. That food poisoning, I'm glad I'm better. That's out. I told y'all I'm not gonna be eating Dunkin' Donuts like that. Period. I'm not gonna be eating Dunkin' Donuts like that. I'm gonna slow down on that. Probably ain't gonna eat it for a couple months, 2 or 3 months. I don't know however long, but I'm gonna just slow down on that. But yeah, man, like and subscribe, man. Like this video, smash the like button, subscribe, man, and I'm